I am glad to see a turnaround in the discussion about moderators where people are actually starting to get fucking sick of them. It only took 10, 20 years, but it's starting to happen. It might have something to do with the fact that Donald Trump is president, and if that fucking baboon can be president, anything is possible. The sky is the limit. Your dreams can come true. And the problem here is that there are still people that cling to the private property concept. This is actually an issue in the Libertarian Party now, because the Libertarian Party is actually moving toward the left because of Donald Trump. And that's a good thing, because liberty is not based on a right or left paradigm. You either believe in human rights or you don't. You either believe in individuality or you don't. You don't have to, but you have to accept the natural consequence of that. See, these normies and these cucks, they love to say the word consequence, but they really have no concept of it. It's just that basic Christian morality repackaged into a secular environment that we live in because we are a secularized nation. However, the church started this with, God is all powerful and all knowing, but he gives you free will, but God forbid you should actually use that free will in a way he doesn't like, then you're going to burn in hell. Even though the Bible never mentions hell for people, but I'm not here to give you a theology lesson. I'm here to tell you that makes no fucking sense at all. Why would God give you free will if he's not going to like a decision you make? That's counterintuitive. You don't give someone free will and then give them the choice to do something bad, and you punish them for that choice. If you are going to define good and evil, then you shouldn't care if they're good or evil. You're the creator. God can't be both the creator and the destroyer. God can't be both, a Justicar out to be Batman and, just be this omnipresent force that created everything because, and maybe his morality is beyond human comprehension, but all the more so, you shouldn't have to both worship this God and fear his retribution, because his morality is beyond our concept of good and evil. So the things that we do may or may not have any bearing on the fate of our souls, whether it be murder, whether it be rape, whether it be blasphemy, whether it be heresy, which are two different things, etc. So, getting that out of the way, Christian morality. Then you come down to secular morality, which is just an offshoot of Christian morality. Nietzsche talked about this, but there's more to it than what even Nietzsche said. And you now live in a world where everyone pretends to be free, but has no real concept of it. And as Jean-Paul Sartre said, people are afraid of freedom. People are afraid of freedom. They fear actually being free to do what they want. And the internet has given them means to do what you want. And people can't decide whether they want that radical freedom or they don't. Problem is, see, moderators are using that radical freedom. They have said, this is my website and I can run it however I want to, and they're just going to ban. When you think of a moderator, you think of banning and you think of post-deletion and just mutilating fucking control freak egomaniacs, because they are megalomaniacs. And why do you defend that concept? Because you hate radical freedom. You hate the idea of you being free. You don't trust yourself to be free, but you trust the moderator to be free to do what he wants to. That's what it is. Because if it wasn't what it is, why would you put up with that? And I don't mean put up with it by going to a different website. I mean fucking putting a bullet in their kneecap. I mean fucking, doxing them or something. Because why would you put up with someone treating you that way? No one has the right to treat you that way. Here's the gist of it. Here is the simple grits of it. If a website has a policy, that does not mean that you have to abide by that policy. That means that's something they want. A policy is not a rule, it is a desire. Policies are a desire that they want, which they are already fulfilling that desire by having the website to begin with. When Reddit has its policies, it is already initiating those policies by having the website that is Reddit. Reddit is a social media platform in which you can bring up different topics of interest. It already does that. By merely programming it into existence, it does that. There are the memes, there are the cartoon pages, the anime pages, the toys pages, the traveling pages, whatever. Any subject matter you can think of, there's probably a subreddit to it, and it's probably monopolized by some very evil, very pedophile moderators. But the point is, their will has already been done. So policy is not enforceable. Policy is not your burden to bear. It is theirs. They're the ones that want this. They're the ones that have to, make it happen. When they're telling you you have to act a certain way because of what they want, where does that make sense? Where does that make sense in a free society, in a lawful society, that they want you to act a certain way and you better do it or else? Or else what, motherfucker? I could just shoot you right now. Don't or else me. You have no right to or else me. If someone was to come up to you on the street and said, you have to do this, change your hair color or something, or else, would you put up with that? No. And before you go into, well, it's their property, I don't fucking care. You don't have the right to tell me what to do. I don't care if it's your house. I don't care if it's your store. I don't fucking care. You want what you want, and you're getting what you want through passive means, but as soon as you try to aggressively come at me to force me to abide by what your will is, like you're a fucking god or something, I will show you just how god you are and nail you to a goddamn cross. How about that? Don't fuck with people. But they think they have the right to fuck with people. And I guess they do because nobody fucking tells them otherwise. I mean, we're starting to see it here and there now, but people are pussies. Because they're afraid. Afraid of what? You already have these psychopaths fucking dictating every course of action you say and do. What are you afraid of? What is there left? What, you afraid of more child porn? Oh, like that doesn't exist. Oh, you afraid of more fucking the bullying? The bullying's gonna happen anyway. Guess what? They're bullying you because they're the ones trying to force you to do something you don't want to do or accuse you of something you didn't do. So there's already all these dark, horrible things anyway. All that you're doing is accepting a circumstance that doesn't need to exist, isn't even lawful, but doesn't even need to exist to begin with. There are so many platforms of why it's wrong and despicable and illegal, and people just make excuses after excuses for it. Just like the irrationality of believing that there's some sky moderator that's going to tell you that you broke the terms of service of the Holy Decree because he made the universe and then decided he's going to make all these stupid little rules that only apply to humans because no other creature is sentient enough to even abide by them. So he made these rules specifically for people and gave them the free will to break those rules just so he could punish them. And, it makes God sound completely retarded because whoever made the concept of God is completely retarded and has no real understanding of the cosmic forces that brought us into existence or will probably take us out of existence. And we may never know. There might not even be a reason. There might not even be a God. There might not be any reason for any of this. But the point is that you cannot have these irrationalities and expect people to follow them. They know they can't expect you to follow them, so they have to use force to make you follow them. And that was the basis of the Libertarian Party, was that people shouldn't be able to force you to do anything. That's why they have the NAP, which the ANCAPs don't completely comprehend the point of the NAP. They think the NAP only applies to the government. And while the government might do some things that nobody likes, while the government might be corrupt on minor or even major levels, the government isn't the only bad guy. That's only disc 1 boss of this JRPG, motherfucker. That's what the Libertarian Party is about.